Welcome to the Your Home Sold Guaranteed radio show, where you get advice you can trust, from the latest real estate trends to the best mortgage rates, from curb appeal to home warranty. This is the show that will help you save and make the most money when it comes to buying or selling your most valuable asset. Now, here's your host, broker and founder of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty of Florida, Rick Kendrick.
Happy Sunday, everybody. Welcome to Your Home Sold Guaranteed Radio. I'm Rick Kendrick with Carrie. Great Sunday morning. Last week, Carrie, remember we talked about the steps that you use to hire an agent, right? We were talking about how we would go about hiring an agent, the qualifications of the agent, how many sales he's done, things of that sort.
The idea was that, if you're thinking about making a move in 2024, we just wanted to provide you guys with some, questions that you might consider asking if you are hiring or interviewing a real estate agent.
Yeah, so here's what we're going to do. We've gone over that. Now you have hired the agent. You've pretty much have sat down with them, gone over the details. You've evaluated them and gone through the process of making sure that this is the right person for you to protect you and get the most amount of money with the least amount of hassle for your most important investment. But before we do that, let's just recap what the numbers were last week. So, Carrie, how many days on the market are we sitting at right now?
Yeah, so we finished up the end of the year. Right around 53 days on the market is the average for Palm Beach County.
What's that equate to as far as inventory? How much inventory do we have in the market?
Well, so the inventory, we're hovering just around 5 months.
Yeah. That tells us, buyers and sellers, pretty much this market is getting to that normalcy point. As you recall, a couple of years ago, or even earlier last year, we were in the 4-month range, right?
Right. So whenever the interest rates started to rise over the summer, the inventory levels started to go up because the buyers weren't necessarily out there on the market because the rates were higher than what they would have wanted or what they had gotten used to during the COVID years. So the demand did drop off, and so that's why we saw the rise in inventory, and the inventory levels now are in that 5 to 6 month range.
Yeah, now buyers have kind of settled down, kind of got accustomed to that 5 to 6 range, 6.5 range as far as interest rates, which is good because, be honest with you, now you got more to pick from. You got over 5.5. The normalcy is about 6 months out there, but that looks pretty good. How about our prices, a medium household price and things of that sort?
Yeah, so we've seen an increase pretty much across all of the counties in Southeast Florida. The average sales price in Palm Beach County is up 5.5%, and the median sales price is up 6.6%.
Okay, so, Carrie, you've hired that agent. You said, this is the person you want. What's the next step, right? Based on the information that they've given you, you kind of know what's going to happen, but you don't know exactly what's going to happen. So in my mind, when you're sitting down with a seller, now that you completed all the paperwork and the paperwork's out of the way, now you're going to make sure the price is set right based on what we call the CMA report. What does CMA stand for, Carrie?
Yeah, so that's the, comparative market analysis or competitive market analysis. So you need to be able to, take into consideration what the homes in your community have been selling for. Not just the ones that have actually sold recently, but also what your competition is. So you do need to seriously take a look at the homes that are actively on the market because that's going to be your competition.
Yep. You've taken those numbers, you looked at it, the agents walked around, looked at the property, saw all the improvements he's done to it. In conjunction with that, he gave you, or she gave you, they gave you a list of things that you need to get repaired before you put it on the market. Do you think that's necessary to do that before we put it on the market?
Yeah, I think it's imperative for sure that the agent is providing you with like a punch list, right? So sellers can be quite, emotional about their home, and they may not be able to kind of step back and take a look at it from the buyer's eyes. So a good agent is definitely going to walk through the home with you and make suggestions for things that you can do, and they don't have to be expensive things. It could be as simple as, pressure washing your driveway, making sure the lawn is cut, maybe throwing out some fresh mulch. But little things like this can really make a big difference whenever the buyer is first walking into your home.
We kind of qualify when we say repairs to sellers, correct? We're saying, hey, no, you know what? Don't go ahead and put in a new kitchen or new cabinets or things of that sort, because really there's no reason for that, because you know what buyers are going to do. They're going to walk in the door and basically they're going to make it to their satisfaction, right?
Right, and decluttering and cleaning your home can actually go a really long way. Cabinetry or flooring or paint color, in all likelihood, a buyer could sort of envision themselves moving in and making those adjustments to your home. But if it's so messy and they can't see past your stuff, that can become a problem.
Yeah,
for sure.
Getting ready to go is really, really important, because the first buyers that start walking in the door are the people who have been hovering over the neighborhood, been looking at your neighborhood, and they're basically ready to go and maybe even make an offer for you. You know, those minor details will be fixed. That's what we do. We make sure you do those minor repairs, nothing major, make sure everything's okay there. Hey, do you think it's necessary for a seller to put a seller's disclosure together?
For sure. Most buyers will request one whenever they're writing an offer for your property, so it's best to get that out of the way at the beginning.
Yeah. Seller's disclosures. You know, those are really not required, right? So this is the key thing when you get a buyer's agent, that you have a buyer's agent, because you know, they usually advise you to get a seller's disclosure. That seller's disclosure basically says all the improvements to the property, in conjunction to that, any repairs that you've done to it, or anything that may, may be something that we need to know about the house in advance.
Yeah, so when he says that a seller's disclosure is not required, what he's referring to is the actual written paperwork, right? So the Florida Realtors provides us with a 3 or 4 page document. It's basically fill in the blank, check mark type list of questions for home sellers. And so the idea is for you to, complete that and then pass that on to the buyer so they can sort of like tell what's been going on with the home. Now, even though filling that out isn't a requirement, it is a requirement, of course, for a seller to disclose any major items that could be wrong with the home.
Yeah. So when you sit down with the agent of your choice, which I hope it's me, our team, what you do is you just make sure you understand the complete process from start to end in getting your home prepared. Not only that, selling it,
so this is
but
the
more
year you're going to sell your house, or are you going to go buy a new one? Who are you going to hire? Hi, it's Jennifer. Just call my friend Rick Kendrick from your home sold guaranteed Realty of Florida, because like the name of his company says, he guarantees to sell your home. Plus, he can get you an immediate cash offer. Just text your address to 561-901-3333 and you'll receive 3 competing offers instantly. Check out Scott and Sue's story. They weren't sure exactly where they wanted to live, so Rick sat down with them and he listened to their needs. And after an initial consultation, he realized they love boating just as much as Rick does. So Rick knew North Palm Beach was the perfect place for Scott and Sue. He found them the perfect pool home, but it's North Palm Beach, one of the greatest areas to live in South Florida. So there were multiple offers, but after Rick and Sue listened to Rick's recommendations on terms and conditions, they won the bidding war. So whether you're buying or selling, call my friend Rick Kendrick, 561-901-3333, or just visit RickHasTheBuyers.com.
Rick will be right back with more of the Your Home Sold Guaranteed radio show here on News Talk 850 WFTL.
So this is the year you're going to sell your house, or you're going to go buy a new one. Who are you going to hire? Hi, it's Jennifer. Just call my friend Rick Kendrick from your home sold guaranteed Realty of Florida, because like the name of his company says, he guarantees to sell your home. Plus, he can get you an immediate cash offer. Just text your address to 561-901-3333 and you'll receive 3 competing offers instantly. Check out Scott and Sue's story. They weren't sure exactly where they wanted to live, so Rick sat down with them and he listened to their needs. And after an initial consultation, he realized they love boating just as much as Rick does. So Rick knew North Palm Beach was the perfect place for Scott and Sue. He found them the perfect pool home, but it's North Palm Beach, one of the greatest areas to live in South Florida. So there were multiple offers. But after Rick and Sue listened to Rick's recommendations on terms and conditions, they won the bidding war. So whether you're buying or selling, call my friend Rick Kendrick, 561-901-3333, or just visit RickHasTheBuyers.com.
Hi, I'm Eric Rosemary, branch manager at Cross Country Mortgage in Boca Raton. If you're deciding which lender to trust, whether you're purchasing or refinancing, I would love the opportunity to work with you. Over my 20-year career, I've helped close to 10,000 families buy or refinance the place they call home. Despite what you're hearing about interest rates, you might be surprised at what we can do for you. Let's talk. Call or text me at 954-312-3104 or visit rosemarymortgageteam.com.
If you're ready to buy or sell your home and would like to schedule an appointment with Rick, call 561-901-3333 or go to rickhasthebuyers.com. Now back to the Your Home Sold Guaranteed radio show and your host, Rick Kendrick.
Hey, welcome back from the break. In this segment, we're going to be digging into a little bit more of what sellers are looking at after they pick that agent. So, of course, the agent's going to sit down with you and kind of go over the process and what you're looking at. You know, one thing that I think is pretty important that they need to know is that showings, right? Make sure these showings are set up on correctly, that they have qualified buyers. The times to show are convenient for both buyer and seller. You know, when I look at the showings, okay, what we want to do is make it as convenient as we can with the buyers, but also for you. We start jotting down times that we can do this. Now, usually showings are like from, 9 to 5 range, but sometimes you have to make that in, that special situation when the buyer's working after 5 o'clock and you have to show that house to them. The other thing is when you do set a time, what you need to do is go ahead and go through house, make sure it's nice and tidy, ready to go, all the lights on, the AC's full blast, put the pets away, put them somewhere, and make sure, more importantly, when the buyers get there, let them have the house, so to speak. Okay, if I were you, I'd go out and take a walk or take a drive. It takes about 10, 15 minutes for them to typically to look at the house. And then from that standpoint, they feel comfortable. If you are there, not to say you can't be there, but if you're there, sometimes they feel a little uneasy about walking around your house and opening doors. When you're not there, they feel a lot more comfortable. Don't you agree, Carrie?
For sure. If there are some features that your home has that you want to ensure that the buyer knows about, get with your agent and ensure that that is on your feature sheet. It can be quite uncomfortable for buyers whenever the seller is there because they feel like they can't, interact with one another, right? A husband and wife may want to talk about the home and so on. And if you're there, they may feel a little bit uncomfortable about that.
And the other thing is, I forgot to mention earlier, is that make sure that you're accessible to the agent, because when they do decide to make an offer, they're going to have questions in mind that they want to ask before they get out there and start making an offer and putting terms and conditions together. Speaking of terms and conditions, as a seller, what I would do in the process after you pick this agent is sit down with them and say, hey, listen, bring me a contract. Let me see what a sales contract looks like. And let's go through the contract and see what the steps are going to be through this process. Okay, so what you're going to see on that contract is obviously is the price, how much down payment they're putting down initially, if they're financing or paying cash. Now, all that right there is big. Sometimes people really highlight the aspect of price. What you really want to be looking at is your terms and conditions. You want to be looking at closing date, date of acceptance. You want to be looking at loan commitment. What does that mean, loan commitment, Carrie?
Yeah, it's a number of days that a home buyer has to secure financing for your property.
Right. Now, if they're paying cash, then they don't have to worry about that, right?
Right.
Yeah. So, and the other thing is inspection, home inspection. Here's another factor that comes into play that you need to make sure that everything's taken care of in advance. Make sure you walk the property with the agent, make sure all the repairs have been done, because that home inspector is going to pick up everything. They usually produce about a 50 or 60 page report. Don't be afraid, sellers. Don't worry about it. It's okay. They're getting paid to do this, so they're going to provide that information. The home inspection is a big thing. What you got to do is just handle it. But more than likely, when you do home inspections, if you've maintained your house, it will not be an issue, because usually when you sell a house, as we do, we sell it as is. We're not going to have to make any repairs to it.
Right. So a majority of the contracts that are written up in Florida are written up on as-is contracts. And what that means, right, is that a buyer is going to submit, along with their offer, the number of days that they want to kind of hire the inspector and go through your home. And so during that 7 to 10 day time frame, they're coming in and they're having any and all inspections that they want to. So whether or not that could just be a home inspector, maybe you have a septic tank and they want to have somebody come out and take a look at that. Perhaps you have a well on your property and they want to have the water tested. So that inspection period is going to allow the buyer to do that. And when Rick is saying that the contracts are as is, what that means is that the buyer, if anything major comes up on the contract, they have the ability to either cancel the contract or come to you as the seller and request repairs. And then ultimately it's up to you to make those repairs, perhaps give them a credit in place of making the repairs, or you can negotiate.
Don't feel offended, sellers, if for some reason they do come back with a certain list of repairs, because a lot of times, it's just a situation where they're looking at this house, and you're very fortunate they are looking at this house to be able to make an offer. So anyway, Carrie, do you have any other things that might be of interest in that contract that you think that the sellers need to be looking at when they're being presented an offer?
I think you just need to pay particular attention to the timeline, right? So all the timelines that are involved. And also you need to ensure that there are no amendments or addenda that are attached. So, for instance, you may want to ensure that the buyer's offer on your home is not contingent upon them selling their home.
Yeah, that's another one. And that's becoming more common right now. And this is where I believe an agent comes into play, because what they'll do is they'll do the homework. If there's a contingency, they present you with a contingency. That's not bad. All right. It just depends on the terms and conditions of that contract that's on their house. They may already have an offer on their house. They may already went through the inspection. All they're waiting for is the closing date. Now that's a deal, right? That's a good deal. If they have not put their house on the market, I would not advise you to look at this aspect of taking on a contract. It's pretty important that they have it on the market and they're marketing the property. Don't you think, Carrie?
For sure. And also the financing aspect of it. If the buyer is getting a loan in order to purchase your home, you need to ensure that the agent that you've hired is digging a little bit deeper and is actually calling that buyer's lender on the phone and finding out where they're at in the process. So has the lender actually reviewed the documents from the buyer, or is it one of these, online websites where somebody just enters in preliminary information and then they spit out, a pre-qualification letter saying that they can buy a $750,000 house? That's a totally different scenario than, having a conversation with their lender and their lender says, yes, I've pulled their credit report. I have everything that I need from their employer. I've looked at their bank statements, and they are well qualified to purchase your home.
Yeah, and it's so important to have that information, because you can get to the last week of this thing and find out that the buyer's not qualified. So the process after, the agent is selected is it can be traumatic to a seller, but it can be as long as your agent stays in contact with you on a weekly basis or every 2 weeks, just to give you an update of what's going on in the market. The agent lets you know what's going on in the market. I promise you'll feel a lot more comfortable what's happening as far as your house is concerned. If your house is not getting activity, the agent, if it's a good agent, will put a pricing strategy together, meaning plan B. Maybe you might need to consider some price reductions. Now, that's not a promoter that we look at, but it is something that helps out in getting more buyers out there to look at. So pricing strategies are pretty important when you put your house on the market. So, sellers got to go live somewhere, right?
For sure.
Yeah. So they gotta go find a place, right? Mm-hmm. So when do you think they should start looking?
Yeah, I'd say once you put your home on the market, you can get serious about getting out there and looking for your home. You don't want to, find a home, though, before you actually put your house on the market, because then what happens is you run the risk of finding the perfect place, falling in love with it, and then because you don't want to lose it, you're going to get in a desperate situation with their home you're selling, and you may leave a lot of money on the table.
Yeah. I'm not bragging, but I'm telling you, this is my specialty right here. What you don't want to be, sellers, is put in a corner where you have to sell your house without finding a place to go live. Maybe you need another 30 or 45 days to stay in your house. I know how to handle this. I know for a fact that sometimes you probably may need another 30 or 45 days.
Yeah, post-closing occupancies are your friend whenever you're buying and selling within the same area.
So after the break, let's talk a little bit about our featured listing of the week, our buyers in waiting program a little bit, and then more importantly, let's talk about our Go So Big mission. This is Rick Kendrick. We'll be right back.
To schedule an appointment with Rick Kendrick to help you buy or sell your home, call 561-901-3333 or go to rickhasthebuyers.com. Rick will be right back with more of the Your Home Sold Guaranteed radio show here on News Talk 850 WFTL.
So you're thinking about selling your home? This is why I tell you need to talk to my friend, Rick Kendrick, from Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty of Florida. Now, not only can he get you cash offers, but he can get you 3 cash offers.
So, Jennifer, what we were doing before was offering a traditional offer. We were putting it on the market. It would stay on the market for 30 or 60 days. Now we can offer you an immediate cash offer. In fact, we can offer you at least 3 cash offers today in 3 weeks. We want to give certainty to every seller out there. If they're serious about selling, we can get you out of that house in 3 to 4 weeks. We can do a traditional route, or we can get you cash. You throw us the keys and you're out the door. Or if you need to stay in that house, we'll give you cash in 3 weeks and you can stay there and lease it back from us. Or the ultimate is you do a cash offer and then we put it back up on the market to see if you can get more money for it. We're looking for certainty, convenience, and an opportunity to make the most amount of money for your house.
561-901-3333 or visit rickhasthebuyers.com.
Hi, I'm Eric Rosemary, branch manager at Cross Country Mortgage in Boca Raton. If you're deciding which lender to trust, whether you're purchasing or refinancing, I would love the opportunity to work with you. Over my 20-year career, I've helped close to 10,000 families buy or refinance the place they call home. Despite what you're hearing about interest rates, you might be surprised at what we can do for you. Let's talk. Call or text me at 954-312-3104 or visit rosemarymortgageteam.com.
If you're ready to buy or sell your home and would like to schedule an appointment with Rick, call 561-901-3333 or go to rickhasthebuyers.com. Now back to the Your Home Sold Guaranteed radio show and your host, Rick Kendrick.
Okay, in our final segment here, we're going to be going over our listing of the week. This, again, is a place in DeQuesta. It's a 3-bedroom, 3-bath condo on the first floor. Needs a little bit of work. It's got over 2,400 square feet. Still a dynamite place. Turtle Creek, great area. Nice golf course there, which is optional. You don't have to join the club there, right, Carrie?
Right. You do not have to join the club, but there's boating there as well. So for boaters, it's a great location.
Yeah, it leads right out to the Jupiter Inlet. It's a pretty cool place. It's got a great value to it because it needs a little work. It's at $560 right now. And I tell you, for the location, you can't beat it. So, Carrie, tell us a little bit about the Go So Big mission.
Yeah, so Rick and I donate a portion of our income from home sales to some great local charities in our area. So if you or anyone you know is considering a move, we would love the opportunity to interview for the job.
So Saturday, January 27th at 10 a.m., I'm going to have a special webinar on the title of, is this the right time for buyers to buy? What do you think about that, Carrie? Do you think that's probably a good topic?
Absolutely. So if you're considering a move in 2024, this is a great free resource for you to hop on to Rick's webinar. He's going to be going over what's happening with inventory levels, what are the interest rates expected to do in this upcoming year, And also, we're going to have our lender, Eric Rosemary, on the line as well, and he's going to go through some special financing options.
Questions that I'm sure that I'm going to be able to answer for him is current conditions, the future of interest rates, like you said, the supply of homes. There is a good supply of homes, but we're going to show you some homes out there that are ready to go. The process of buying, okay? We'll review what the process of buying a place. And more importantly, Eric's going to be going over some special interest rates that are available to us. So we're going to be doing that again on January 27th at 10 a.m. All you have to do is go to rickhasthebuyers.com or text me at 561-901-3333. Also, attention agents out there, if you're looking to make a move out there and looking for a company that's got systems in place and training in place, and you're looking for a full-time position developing your career in real estate, contact us at 561-901-3333 or rickhasthebuyers.com. Every Thursday at 10 a.m., I have a meeting going over the orientation of what our company's doing and our plans are and our goals. Would love to have you there. Just, again, give me a call at 561-901-3333 or rickhasthebuyers.com. So thank you for taking time to listen to me today. This is Rick Kendrick, your home sold guaranteed realty, serving the southeast coast of Florida. Our network extends across the country and Canada. You can call or text me at 561-901-3333. Hey, Carrie, thanks for the information and the update on what our market is doing. I think this topic of, going through the process of making sure you understand what's going to happen once you put it on the market makes sellers a little bit more comfortable. Looking forward to seeing you next week. Tune in every Sunday at 10 a.m. at 850 WFTL News Talk Radio.
You've been listening to the Your Home Sold Guaranteed radio show with broker owner Rick Kendrick. Heard every Sunday morning here on News Talk 850 WFTL. Rick's company name is his promise. Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. To speak directly to Rick about buying or selling your home, call now to schedule an appointment, 561-901-3333, or visit rickhasthebuyers.com. And mark your calendar to join Rick again next week at this same time for the Your Home Sold Guaranteed radio show here on News Talk 850 WFTL.